terminology, but my goal for the coming year is like to
No,
train.
well, hold on. I have no problem with the terminology. And I have no problem with you having attachments.
Okay.
Well, hold on, hold on. Before we even take one step further, let's clarify something. Look, for somebody who is instinctive for him to live a life of egotism and attachment, if you tell this person, drop your ego, become non-attached, this is useless for him. Maybe it's useful to point him as to what is the potential in the future, but in the meantime, in the present, this is his reality.
Mm.
And if you're to travel any journey, you must begin from where you are, not from where you are not. So if you tell him where you are right now, drop attachment, and he cannot, you're giving him an impossible situation.
Mm.
So rather than having that sort of approach, I think we can turn our egotism and attachment into a bridge and a stepping stone for inner growth, because I don't see that all objects of attachment are the same. I think I may have expressed this.
Yeah.
So different sorts of attachments have different effects on the mind. Remember that given the choice between having attachment to sex, to wealth, to drugs, to gambling, to so many things that are just manufacturing greater suffering, become attached to meditation, become attached to wisdom, become attached to all those knowledge, become attached to all of those things which actually have a potential to bring you true enduring well-being. So instead, point your egotism and attachment in a different direction. Like, for example, Gautama Buddha. I think I told you about his life. Did I? When he was born, this was the traditional thing in India. When a newborn child is there, you'll get the astrologers, and they will erect astrological charts to predict what will be the future of this child. So when Gautama was born, the father got the astrologers, and they made their predictions. And then they told him, "My lord, this child, it seems he has only two destinies available to him. Either he's going to be a great spiritual leader, or he's going to inherit your kingdom and become a great king over the land." So the father, hearing this, of course, seeing these two alternatives, the idea of his son inheriting the throne was much more attractive to him. So what he did consciously he made a lot of strenuous effort to make sure that Gautama Buddha would be shielded from anything that could lead him in spiritual directions, surrounded him with all sorts of beautiful luxuries, gave him the finest clothes, surrounded by beautiful women, a life of great luxury that could only be afforded by a prince. And to shield him off from any sort of suggestion of the unpleasantness of the world. So he's living this life of luxury, but still he finds a certain question emerges in his mind. Okay, in spite of all of this, I have enough wealth that could last an average human being lifetimes, yet still I find that I'm not truly peaceful and contented. Why is this so? So that seed of a thought started to become like a plague in his mind. So one day he wanted to take a look just outside of the boundaries of the palace. So he walked out with his servant, and he's seeing certain scenes that he has never seen ever in his life for the first time. He's walking with his servant, and he sees a man. He looks very almost disfigured. So he asks the servant, "What is wrong with this man?" The man says, "My lord, this man is ill." Gautama Buddha said, "Ill?
What's that?
What does that mean, ill?" "Oh, my lord, this man has a very serious disease, and very soon it is going to consume his life." He said, "Oh, do you mean that not everybody lives with a healthy vitality of the body throughout their whole life?" "No, Lord, it is not so." They continued walking on the path. They see another man. He also has a strange appearance. So Gautama asks the servant, "What's wrong with this man?" "Oh, my lord, this man is old." "Old? Do you mean that one day I'm going to be in the same position and I will lose the vitality of the body. This man looks horrible. Then he said, "My lord, I am sorry, but it is so." They continued walking on the path. Then he sees just a dead corpse surrounded with maggots and flies. And he says, "My lord, my dear servant, what's wrong with this man?" "Oh, my lord, this man has been dead for a few days." And then Gautama asked, "Do you mean to tell me that every single body that I've ever come into contact with is going to meet the same fate?" Then the servant said, "I'm sorry, my lord, it is so." So it suddenly struck him, this whole time up to my from birth to the present moment, I've been living my life in a dream. I cannot sustain this. I must seek a deeper value to life. So the following day, it was quiet in the night, without giving any single word's notice or warning. He clothed himself, left the palace quietly, and from that day forth, he started seeking a life of spiritual process. Now tell me, in this whole process, was not his egotism involved? Was he not attached?
Well, yeah, he was attached to the idea of spiritual value.
And attached to the fact that there must be something more to life than what I've already experienced.
No.
Attached to the fact of seeking an escape beyond his suffering. Isn't that very egoistic? And at the time when he left, he had a wife, he had a son, but this desire for truth was much greater than all these things in his life. So the question emerged in his mind. It was an egoistic question. What is it is there anything in this life which is capable of bringing me enduring happiness, well-being, and freedom? It was an egoistic question, but he pointed his ego in a direction which actually had the potential to transform his life. And eventually he did become enlightened. So that's just an example I'm mentioning. So I'm saying, let us not condemn the ego. Let us not treat all attachments as if it's some sort of curse or a poison to the mind. We can transform them into medicine if only we approach it with the right sensitivity and proper discrimination.